Let us begin. Bar, hammer sledge into the ground, the angle. What is the difference between this and this? This will turn into an X. This will turn into a plus. Why do I have the corner point sticking out? Because that's where it ends. It ends right here. Everything cuts off right at this level and cuts off at this level. So it becomes that the inside is the greatest diameter. 1, 2, 3 levels, one above, one below, equaling to 2 beside and 2 beside. This is the center of your N and your Z. This one is the cross. You see I put 1 point down, 2 points in, because these are fillers, filler blocks. These are not filler blocks. What is going to happen here is that there's something going to go on the outside of this and connect these two. Crisscross. Crisscross, why wouldn't the cross be this way? You remember that movie where he's walking with the cross? Well, that's the angle of the cross across man's back. He's always striving forward. When you strive forward in a walk, you must be this way. Not this way. This is an up and down. This is the army march. This is the cross represented in 38. C and H. In hurrah, 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 the ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. 3 across from 7 in low shoe. Nibiru sun does the crossing. 56, 65, 121, 11, 11, 81 seconds. Venus 9 times 9. 31 alternate current, working with 4 and 6. Low shoe, low shoe. Low shoe on the cross, it's an addition. Low shoe on the angle is a multiplication. Multiplication, addition. Add 1, the heart. This heart is already over here. This must be spliced within here, giving it 1, 2, 3 levels. This is a level stick. Look at the aleph. This is the way it's made. Have you ever heard of opinion of Ben? How about an onion? An onion written in French starts with OI, saying 10 because of the 10 rounds, right? 10 rounds to an onion, 12 rounds to an onion. What are we going to do next? We have 6 and 4, 52 and 60, 112, 28, 28, 56, 56. The light, 28 is the light. L-I, G, L-I, L, and G is 19, and I makes 28, 19, 19, 28, magic square. 32 is the doorway. Why? It's the freezing point. It's a point of insanity. Where 3 and 11, Nibiru. Well, what do you mean 3 and 11? Yeah, 11, 1 and 1 is 2. You know why? The 3 is in the 10 position. The 2 is in the 1 position. The 2 can go all the way to 0 again. Give it 8 to make it perfect. Give it 7 to make it 9. The Holy Ghost. Why? Because 1 and 7 on the dice cube. Here is 8 and here is 7. The total is 15. 1 and 5 is 6. Where is 1 and 2? 2, 1, 2. How can we find 2, 1, 2? And how can we get back to the pi theory of 2, 1, 2? Well, 9, which is I, which is supposed to be the highest, inside the piano. 7 is the highest. When you get to I, you hit B. Every time you hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 is B. So if you start at 8, right, the 9th one is B. So if you start at A again, which is 8, and you count 9 from the beginning, from the second level, it's always B. A ends with B. A ends with B. That's what makes the ruler, 12 inches. Have you ever seen Lincoln and Abe Lincoln? 369, 147 inside a pi, right? If you ever hit a 147 inside a pi, multiply it by 3, becomes 3, 12, 21 equals 36. 21, 12, 333. If you hit 2, 5, and 8, multiply it by 3, becomes 6, 15, 24, 0, 6. 1 and 5 is 6. 2 and 4 is 6. This is on the cross, 2, 5, and 8. But in low shoe, it's 9, 5, and 1, A, E, and I. 3 vowels, because everybody knows O and U, right? You know O and U? O, 14, 15, 29, 92, 65 pi, all from O and U. Why? Because O and U comes from the W family. The W family is the family that owns BC, 2 plus 1, 1 between 2 creating 3. BC, A, and B, no moons because they own the W creation. 2 times 3, 2 plus 3 is 5 and 6. 5 and 6 from 1 and 2 is 1 and 2 reversed. 5 and 6, the high sky is on the 6th end, but everybody knows that there is no 6. Everything ends at 4, the 4 corners. Everything ends at 4, 4 1/4. This is 1/4 part of all of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, equaling to the total of 5 in the center. 1 1/4, 1 1/4, 1 1/4, 1 1/4 equals to 5. 1 equals to 5. 5 and 1 is 6. Totality 6, 6, 6. Around 1 is 8 empty ghosts from your phone. 6 is 8. 2 is 7. 7 and 8. 7 times 8, 56 and 15, 71. 7 and 1, first and last. Family of 3, 21 and 3, 24 to 9 legs of the cat. All zeros equal 6 becomes 63. Part of Jupiter because Jupiter runs the 63 moon system. 36 reversed. Plus 60 is 96. 96, 9 minus 2, and 6 plus 1. 9 plus 1, 6 plus 4, 4 and 1. 4, 1, 4. That is the 9th position. 4 around in the center when the dice cube is this way, and then when the dice cube, let me put it another way. When the dice cube is on this one, let's say over here, it is like this, and it is like this. Let's see, tick, 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 tick. Always hitting 4, 360. 3 parts, the middle to the 2 sides, all the way around, 360 degrees. 360 degrees by 120, 360 degrees by 60 degrees, 360 degrees by 90 by 40, and etc., etc. 258 equals to 45, 81 Venus, 9 times 9. And then 3, 6, 9, everything is separation by 3. 3 times 6 is 18, 3 times 9, 27, 45 plus 9 is 54. 54 is the flow of the fox. FL, OW, WO, O is with W. LF is 6 and 12, 18, 3, 6, 9, 18. 54, 99. 99 is Jupiter, 81 Venus. Venus plays in Jupiter, 2, 1, 2. How? Crossing 3, 5, 7, east, west. 2, 1, 2, 3 to 5, and 5 to 7. Actually, there's 1 in between is 4, and there's 1 in between is 4. It's 4 and 6. Same thing as 4 and 6. Same thing as 4 and 6, because it's in between, and it's in between. Low shoe. 6 equals to 52, and 60 equals to 118. Everybody knows, hurrah, hurrah. Human entity. BC creation. Codes, 200. Abe Lincoln, 54, 100, 99, 109, 119, 129, 135, ACE. It is the ace. It's funny that some things in French and English, they just sound the same and are not changed, right? And one of them is like onion, O-I-N-O-N, which says no, and this says an ion. Buttercup. It's a courge, it's a fruit, or it's a vegetable, but they didn't change the name. So let's get back onto the balance of pi. Since I multiplied everything by 3, the original number was 45. The balance number becomes 135. Add 9. Why? Add 9. So you add 9 to the last one. 135 becomes 144. 144 hours in the day. Why did I add 9? Because I have to add the 4th part. 1, 3, and 5 equals to 9. Or just 3 times 3, how it began. Anyways, this one will equal to 29. This one will be equal to 29, and this one will equal to 18, 9, 27, 999, 27, 29, 29, 58, 68, 78, 85. Spirit matrix, 8 and 5, H and A. H and E, excuse me, E, but E is the center of 414 and 212. Here is 414. Here is 212. This is the Z, 212, carrying of Nibiru. Here's 414 Aleph. This is where they're pertinent, where I saw the letter and I see the crossing. Now, if I'm on the wrong angle, then we have to switch it around the other way, irrelevant to the value of 121, difference of 9. 112, difference of 8. 8 and 9 are the same. They're on the same stick. 8 and 9 is 17. That is their greatest distance. That is what makes DC flow and connects them together. It brings them together. 4 is the highest number. And then when you have another 4 down here, these two 4 here, and the oceans and the netting of the next two 4 here, right? See the separation in them? Now these top 2 and these 2 come together. And with that, right, we're going to put this one, right? 414, and then we're going to switch it for this one. under the sun. When we do that, this is what happens. 116, 323, 661. They automatically happen. I have no choice. It's in the dice. 2 3 4 2. 2 3 2 3 2 2s 3 4. So 3 4 is DC in between Venus on the outside. 55 22 55. Venus, the B world. Venus Mars, Venus Saturn, Neptune Venus. Homogenized. Let's go home. The cow jumped over the moon. I just bought some cheese. What else am I going to just pop up? Here's Abe. The 1, 2, and 5 create the Yod. Lincoln. Okay. I'm not sure if we're going to double up. You remember in some of the games it's called the squeeze game? Well, I remove everything where E is. I just leave 3 in the middle of 3 blocks in the middle. 3 blocks, 2 blocks, 2 blocks, right? 3, 2, 2 is 5. Or I'll put 3 across here and then squeeze 2 together under here, because that's the way this dice is made. It's either this way or this way. It's 6 and 1 this way, or it's 6 and 1 this way, 7. But there is no 8 unless you play with the 2 cubes together. We're counting 1 house. When I did pi over here, I counted 2 houses. So we actually know that once we finish with pi, the answers will be 3, 3, 3, 6, 6, 6, 9, 9, 9, 9 and 18, 1 and 8, 9, 27, 2 and 7, 9. 9 and 18 will be 27. 27 is 54, the number to the sun. The only 2 numbers that will create, okay, the circumference. They will create the circumference to 37, 64. Or how about 34, 67? The diameter of the moon will be in circumference. Where's those numbers? I hope I didn't forget. I did. They will be in circumference. Just give me a second over here to think. Oh, yes. 9, 18, 27, 27. 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, 625. There will be no DC. 4 times 4 times 4 is 256. Times 2 is 512. Okay, we're not going to go into the memory computer. And there is no DC. It leaves a line. 512 memory has no DC. What moves the oceans of the moon is what makes DC because of the number. And 19 times 3 is 57 of the moon. Add the fourth 19, artificial intelligence. The spirit is 76, 86, 95. And 95 is the connection between 1, 5, and 9, 414, the birth of the one spirit in the twins of Venus. There's no other way around it in numbers, but there's only additions. We multiply it on the cross, but this is an add-on. The keyhole to enter, do not enter. What we add, we're already saying, put the key in, but you cannot enter. Raphael, 7286, and partialments of the reality of how I can format pi's first 1 million numbers like this. Actually, there's a few changes inside of it. One add-on is every time you see a 0 in pi, you got to take the numbers on the outside and include it in that one. You include 2 numbers to the left, 2 numbers right, included, and get the average and put it in the 0 spot. Otherwise, turn all zeros to 6. Now, all this stuff about moving 9 in piano, where you now found a new note for pi, I have to work on that. But otherwise than that, multiply everything. So every time you see a 0, right, you will always see a 9. But it'll be an HA9, heaven's angels. It'll always be saying heaven's angels, what means the spirit in the center of all. It'll be talking about this. Every time you see 0, it's the center of 8 around, the 360 degrees, 45, the foxhole. Raphael, 7286, in a constellation of Pegasus. Thank you for watching. Oh, yes, by the way, you can never see 666. The first time you see 6, you go to 7. Then you go to 8.1 Venus. Why? Because 6 is a minute. If you add a minute onto your minute, you're going to take your 6 to 7. If 7 was in a minute of 60 seconds, 7 would be 70, would be a minute and 10, taking your 7 to 8.1. Now you're landing on Venus. Math. What is math? I'm not allowed to do that, but I just did. And it works. If we know what we're talking about, we can do anything we want, right? The boys throw around the hammer. They don't call it a hammer. Knock them out. Knock them down. What are we talking about? We're builders. I'd like to read something on the back of my book here for a second. What does it say? Yes, it's hard to see, right? But once you create the X, all the boxes that are in the corner, okay, all the corners now get halved. So I do want to design it. I want to see what it looks like myself. So let's take a look. So what happens is the reason why we have this, okay, the reason why we have this is because we need the shell to the straight what's inside. We need the shell to what's inside, like the syringe and the needle, right? Did I ever get that out? The syringe and the needle. Just give me a second. Yeah, right here. You ever see that? That's our heart. 2 and 2. There you are. That's our world we were born into. Vaccine. This is the Canadian Tire stamp. Okay. You want to know relevance to green and yellow? Do you want to understand vaccines? Do you want to understand numbers? Well, I don't know. I got to look them over. I don't know anything off the top of my head. I got to get wound up. It's like a racehorse, you know? Racehorse wants to run the mile, but he only starts running really good at the end, right? That's the way I work. There's your syringe, nailing your alpha, omega, your heart. This is two sides. The heart doesn't come together like this. It's the left side of the heart and the right. Just look at the green. Only look at the green. You see the cutout over here, right? See the cutout? How about that? How about that? Two sides of Venus. You see your 8? We've been blocked inside the nose. I know it. I know it because the designs say it. We must look up this planet called Bin Yo Min, the minimum of a student born. Born. Just like opinion of Ben, I don't care what they say, born with balls, right? You're born with balls, it's a male. Okay, and all of a sudden, there's a lot of information that goes just through that. Now, this was your X, right? Here's your X. Here's your X. Now, look what happens over here. The only time I can pull an X on this, there is no center here. My center will come this way. My center will end up coming this way, showing me that if I had to see this on a plane, these would turn into diamonds, although they start the ends as squares. But now, look what happened. Because this is the cross, going across this way. Numbers 1 and 9, or numbers 4 and 6, 1 and 9, or numbers 4 and 6, equaling to 5 and 15 to 20 world, 5 and 15, which equals to 5 and 6 BC. This is 10, and this is 10. This is 24, this is memory, and this is 09. 19 spirit, and this is memory 34, equals to a total of 53 electric company. I like to call that the thyroid gland. We now hook up, it looks like squares, but since it's got cut in half, right? Remember, anything that's cut in half becomes its diameter. So since it's become the diameter, it has to be diamonds. So now by multiplying, it cuts everything in half, and we have 2 to 1. Other than to what we had in the square. What we had in the square is now we have 2 sides. We have 2 sides, but the question is it 2 sides to the same syringe that's going out to one area? That's my question. So the add-on is on the cross, and here she comes. Is that your M with love? Is that your Y divide? Is that your Goliath in a stick? Is that where Goliath lives, in a stick? Inside one of the windows? The addition of the cross, or the multiplication of the division. This is the cross. This is carrying the cross straight up. This is dragging the cross. But there is only one crossing, and this is the crossing over. This is not crossing over, this is going through. Raphael 7286 in a constellation of Pegasus, north-south 33. Northeast to southwest, southeast to northwest, northeast to southeast, northeast to southeast. How about southwest? SW or southeast? Let's go southwest, southwest. S and W 2342. Northeast 55, 4255, 7 by 6. It's a perfect passing. 7 times 6, 7 plus 6. So anyways, I went on, I overdid it. Raphael 7286 in a constellation of Pegasus. Thank you for watching.